Jerry Leeds.
Spell your last name for me.
L-E-E-D-S.
With a G or a J for J?
J.
J?
I was quartermaster second class. I was the leading petty officer.
Okay. Sir?
My name is Benjamin Cueva, and
Spell your first and last name for me.
B-N-J-A-M-I-N, last name Cueva, C-U-E-V-A, and my rate was I was a second class engineman on board of one of these boats.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sir?
I'm Bill Rood, and the last name is R-O-O-D. I'm South Pasadena, California, and I was the officer in charge.
Okay. What are you, a Lieutenant JG then, sir?
I've made lieutenant before I left.
Okay, great.
I'm Rich Lamberson. I was a Gunners Mate Guns second class aboard this boat.
Okay. Spell your first and last name for me.
R-I-C-H, and last name Lamberson, L-A-M-B-E-R-S-O-N.
Larry Lee, L-E-E, third class boatswain's mate, Frankfort, Kentucky.
Okay, great.
This is a friendship that's lasted among us for 25 years, and it's because of the experiences we had together on this boat. This is a very fine crew, and the reason that we managed to get through Vietnam, I think, by the grace of God, first of all, and secondly, by the work that was done by each one of these men. Great engineman, great bosun mate, gunners, great quartermaster.
You guys were on the same crew then, right?
Yeah, same crew.
So for us, this was the beginning of a friendship that lasted for a quarter century.
We were crew 69 Bravo out of Coronado, California, and spent a year in Vietnam together.
When were you in Vietnam and on what boat?
We was on the boat 18, started out, we routed July of 68, and some of them left in July of 69. I extended 6 months. Jerry extended, Jerry, two months.
We went from Da Nang to Chulai, and from Chulai to Antoy, and then back to Da Nang, and Bill went to the hospital for a while. He tried to catch some metal with his head, and what I remember about these things is trying to eat and sleep. It was miserable, because we used to get, like in Antoy, they'd give us, occasionally we'd have a dried roast beef sandwich and a canteen of water occasionally, and I remember I never figured out how to sneak up on VC with two 12-cylinder diesel engines. Never could figure out how you're supposed to sneak up on them.
Never surprised them.
No,
Never.
They knew you were coming.
We never surprised
One thing I remember very clearly, Ben was our engineman, and down in those compartments, I can remember Ben sitting astride those engines, riding them like a bull. And I remember seeing him with hot fuel spitting up on his chest, and the heat coming out of those engine compartments, and remembering I'd never forget him for what he did.
A quarter-inch aluminum boat doesn't stop a whole lot. A 22 will go all the way through it. But it had pretty good firepower. It's frustrating for some of us that were driving and couldn't shoot while everybody else was shooting, but no. This is neat that they've done this.
I remember Larry Lee over here was stationed on the after gun mount, and that was a particularly frightening place to be in an ambush because you're totally exposed. You had no control over where the boat was going, and you were just out there with your gun and your prayers and whatever happened. And
duck on the water.
tell them about that experience, Larry. Tell them what that was like.
You were ducking. You were like a shooting target, and you had no, anytime of day when it's going to happen. You were in ambush sometime during the day. So all day long you're waiting to get shot at, but you know when it's going to happen. So it was pretty scary.
On a good day, they do it 2 or 3 times.
They did
A
3
couple
times.
times a day.
Yeah. So it's definitely a daily thing. You guys were getting shot at on an everyday basis.
Oh, yeah.
We had that one day we got
were like,
ambushed 5 different times, something like that, with small arms and machine gun fire.
They were seeking destroying missions, but it felt like we were seeking and they were destroying. Yeah, that's what it felt like.
I think that it's important to say that this experience of coming back is very important to us. It sort of says to us that the country has not forgotten the contribution. It closes a circle for us, and it makes us feel like maybe it wasn't spitting in the wind after all.
Tell me about this flag.
Well, that was our original flag out of Da Nang on the 18 boat, and when we changed from one detachment to another, I'd put a new flag up and take that one. And so it went to Antoy, and all of the news photos and Stars and Stripes magazines. Another boat we were on was the 23 boat, and we had PCF-1 on the back. But since they had us going up rivers, when we were up in dry dock one day on repairs, we painted an R on it, a small R for River Patrol Craft Fast. And then Admiral Zumal, known as Zumi, told us that we couldn't do that, so they made us take the R off. But this flag traveled with us the whole way, and I brought it back in '69, and it still has burn holes and shrapnel holes in it, where it got zapped a few times. But I think it's illegal flying it like that, but today they'll let us.
It has a lot of meaning for us.
Lots of meaning.
Yes,
yeah.
indeed, it does.
It means a lot being here's this flag flying. It means a whole lot.
Can you guys tell me, is there anybody that's not here that should be here?
We have one man, Ken Martin.
Can you tell me about him? What happened?
We don't know.
We don't
no
know.
one has ever been able to contact
Tracked
him.
25 years,
Yeah.
couldn't find him.
Yeah, he was
Another gunner.
another gunner.
Is there anybody that you lost in Vietnam that should be here?
No, we did not.
No.
Physically, no. Mentally, a couple times.
There are friends who were on other crews and other boats, of course, that we lost, but the only one of this crew that was hurt was me, and that wasn't terribly serious. And
The movie Apocalypse Now, in the first part, there were some parts of it that I could relate to, like skiing behind a boat. But it kind of went overboard, I thought, when it got up in the mountains and the mountain yards and that. Ours was down and dirty. You went up rivers to draw fire, and when we drew fire, then they knew up above where the enemy was. So we were kind of targets. But we'd run the boats. We did smart things. You'd put the youngest officer in the front boat, so he'd get hit first. You know, and we would ride second, which was called cowboy. And or we had different formations we'd do to go up a river because you knew you were going to get ambushed. So you could point all your firepower to one side or the other.
The boats.
We had that one day where when Zumi came and decorated us, where we changed the tactics, and for the first time we went up these rivers, and the VC ambushed us, and instead of running back and forth and shooting at them, we spun the boats around and charged in at the positions and scared the hell out of them, and they jumped up and took off and had a pretty good day that day.
that was probably our major contribution to the strategy. That was a strategy that I think Senator Kerry deserves credit for that, and Don Droz, who was one of our fellow officers, is dead and died over there. But that was just by mutual agreement. We decided if we didn't have to, we wouldn't run. And we didn't that day. We just ran right up on them, and it worked.
We charged
Three times we charged the beast. That's
I
right.
had a front window view of it with no gun.
Medals on
We
us
did,
a few weeks
landing.
later.
We did a
boat was Lieutenant
Droz.
That's right. That's the only one that was destroyed.
Totally got destroyed and left on the banks of the river. It was the 43 boat.
Kerry's boat was 94 boat, and our boat was 23 boat.
It was, there were some pretty hairy days. They had all kinds of neat little tricks. Claymores on the banks to blow out on you. Claymores up in the trees to swing down, hit the side of your boat. Claymores under the water, and when you got close, they'd touch it with a D-cell battery and try to blow you up like a Roman candle.
Undetonated bombs under the river that they would use as mines to initiate an ambush by blowing up a bomb under a boat and lifting the boat right out of the water.
And the ever-present sniper who would fire as many shots as boats were in the river that day.
If you
If you ran up the river with 5 boats, he'd fire 5 shots. Just to let you know that.
He knew you were there.
If you see Max, the guys, if you're on fire with one sniper shot, we had one place in the river, we got one sniper fire shot every time the river just about. There's one place got one sniper bullet fired at us.
Go up there, he'd let us
He let us know he was still there waiting for us.
I think he only had a few bullets.
I think so too.
Is there any way you can tell them what it's like to be under fire in one of these small boats?
Scared to
There's
death.
no way.
Utterly terrifying.
There's no way you can
Utterly
really
terrible.
explain that type of feeling.
It
You
happened-
really have to live it to know what it's like.
It happened so fast, you don't realize it's over with how scary it really was. It happened in 35, 45 seconds, or maybe 2 minutes, it's all over with. And then if you think about it, then it gets really scary, but when it happens, you just take off and start shooting.
Well, the one day they had us pinned down for 4 or 5 hours on both sides of the river when the rough puffs got blown up, and we had to medevac those people out. But we had a boat with a B-40 rocket hole in it about that big, and we were stuffing mattresses in it and had pumps and trying to get it out and medevac people out, and we had to drag that one out. With 2 boats drug it out, but we didn't want to leave it because the 43 boat was just down a ways on the beach, so we weren't going to leave 2 of them in there.
I can remember the one medevac that came in, the chopper put his skid right on the ammo box, on the stern of the boat.
He was
well, we
hot pile.
did a
He was
load,
good.
Yeah. But I think the thing that kept you together during those ambushes was the fact that you knew that other people were there. I mean, no person could go through that by themselves, no boat by itself. Our crew was just one of many crews. We weren't even the most affected by it.
We all seemed to
we were one of the luckier
gain
crews.
strength and courage from each other.
We were lucky.
We were very lucky. We come out with Bill getting shot, but everybody else come out, basically injury-free, and we were very lucky.
I don't know how many crews were there. Because at one point in Antoy, and I've got the article back in the place, I think they gave out like 123 Purple Hearts in 6 months, something like that. And those were the guys that they gave them to. A lot of guys got hit and didn't take them because for different reasons. But I remember I always used to, before we go in the mouth of the river, take my St. Christopher medal off, and I'd kiss it and put it onto a wiper switch and say please. And then when we got out of the river, I'd take it off, kiss it and put it on and say thank you.
And that's probably what did it.
That's what got us up there and back. Absolutely.
So what was your uniform when you guys were doing this?
Well, in Antoy it was
Chocolate green, jungle greens.
And a black beret.
Non-military issue.
Yeah, now we bought them off the street, tiger greens and a black beret. We had our own uniform, sort of.
Well, and we had cut-off
jeans,
T-shirts,
sandals,
Ho Chi Minh sandals. Zumov said we were the most brightly looking crew he'd ever seen in his life.
Got off with flak jackets and flak pants we had to wear.
cartoons about it.
Yeah, they
Stars and stripes. About us being very unmilitary.
The good side of
The
it
long
was
hair
is
and everything.
What
Long
were they
hair.
going to do to us to punish us?
Right.
Send us up a river?
We were already there.
Yeah. So
And I'll
like
tell you, the boat, if you want to know about the appearance of the boat, you were talking about our appearance. The boat never looked like this when we were in combat. We had flak jackets hanging from all those lifelines. That was the only armor that we had, and we often would be carrying upwards of 20, 30 troops and all their gear on the boat at the time. And I mean, it was a pretty weighed down little affair.
we carried mercenaries, rough
Cambodian
bucks,
mercenaries,
Green Berets, SEALs. We did insertions and extractions. All that stuff they didn't train us for in Coronado.
That's right. That's right. We got on-the-job training.
On the
On-job
That's
training.
a fact.
They said, these boats look nice. Let's send them up a river.